All right, in this segment, we're going to focus on New York Assembly speakers, both past and present. And this week, our own Richard Brodsky caught up with current Speaker Carl Heastie to talk about a range of issues, and among them, how the state will fund the second half of construction for the new Tappan Zee Bridge.
He says he'll have the cash, but we still have to put that out into a plan, and that'll be a larger discussion because we, coupled with the commitment to give the MTA money towards the capital plan, it's going to have to be a significant investment for Long Island and upstate New York as well.
Now, you can watch the whole interview with Carl Heastie this weekend on Newsbreakers. Andrew and friends, they're going to be airing this on Fios 1 Lower Hudson Valley as they do every weekend. And I'll start with you, Richard. You've seen speakers come and go. Obviously, Shelley Silver, we'll talk about in a second. There was real questions about the rush to make him speaker, in his capacity to do that and leading different constituencies in Albany. Assess him early on in the stewardship.
You hate even to start it like this because it's unfair. But he's a smart guy, and the notion he has to prove he's a smart guy was, I think, unfair to him. He knows the large social economic dynamics of the state. He's spending some time actually traveling, and one of the interesting parts in the interview was the explanation of why it was important to him to start his speakership by going to Buffalo and Rochester and the agricultural communities and the Hudson Valley. He's familiar with the things that matter. For our region, it's school aid, it's the Tappan Zee Bridge, it's Indian Point, and things like that. It's a hard job. And he had a good budget, he had a good end of session production. He's laying a groundwork to be a successful speaker, and I think viewers will judge for themselves when they see the interview.
Fair enough. Would you say, obviously, you guys got more of an inside perspective on this, but the biggest power broker in the Assembly isn't him, but it's Klein. Is that fair?
No. The notion that we're talking about competing power brokers is the mainstream media getting it wrong
here it goes.
again.
This is what you spoke to him as well this week, Dom. You know the criticism by some is he's a rubber stamp for this governor. Is that a legitimate point?
Of course. I mean,
You think he's a rubber stamp for Cuomo?
Hasty?
Yeah.
I bet my life
On
it.
what?
On just about anything the governor says rubber stamp.
Name one.
On just about the budget process. I mean, wait.
Not true.
We come from a different perspective. Institutional government, outside journalism. Hastie is a nice guy, and he may emerge to be a good speaker. But to a degree, any speaker under this governor is a rubber stamp to a degree. Even Shelley Silver, to a degree, was a rubber stamp. And what was held over Silver's head was, there's talks out there about alleged corruption. You don't think that... They don't talk about it, but the
Education funding, Common Core testing, the MTA capital plan. The notion that the Assembly majority or Carl Heastie is a rubber stamp for him is defied by the results that came out of the budget and the results that came out of the end of session stuff.
Does Heastie have a legitimate split with Cuomo when it comes to tax and economic policy for the state?
Well, it's expressed in terms of the budget. Cuomo, for example, will pick something, let's say school aid. In that particular area, the Assembly has led the fight successfully, with the help of the Senate, to substantially revise and improve the governor's proposals. No rubber stamp.
Mr. Brodsky knows this, Richard. This governor is very politically astute. He's done this with Republican majority for years. Listen, I'll posture this way publicly. You posture that way, and I'll let you win this issue.
The members don't live or die
to say that this brand new speaker,
well, I think there's
the members don't posture.
I think that there's a okay. I think
I didn't say that.
Okay.
And B, if you're going to criticize me, criticize me for what I said,
all right.
not for putting words in my mouth.
Here's my point.
And I mean, that's
my point is, the speaker had a clear choice, which is obviously of a governor and the mayor of New York City, which have been openly feuding for a long time. The mayor has taken a position that the city, including the district that Carl Heastie represents, has been shortchanged by Albany on numerous issues, and he's looking for Albany to make the pot right. Mr. Heastie has not chosen to take up the mantle, publicly at least, for the mayor to go to war with the governor on. And I think either in his silence.
Does it have to be public?
Well, put it this way. I haven't seen the governor capitulate at all or even give a hint at all that he's going to make the shortfall.
On the issue
I mean,
of
are there any secrets in Albany, though? I mean, come on. If he's not doing it publicly, he's not doing it privately.
First of all, that's nonsense. But
No,
but let's even
I
take
worked
the
in Albany.
let's take
Raise
the,
your hand if you
let's
think there's
take
secrets in Albany.
Wait, I didn't.
Exactly.
Again, that's not what I said. If take issues, not broad philosophical statements on the issue of funding pre-K. The governor said no. In the end, the money came. And the money
and
came.
declared victory, the governor did.
Yeah. You guys, the governor's entitled to declare victory and to spin it politically any way he wants. But if you want to know why New York City got pre-K funded, it's because the New York State Assembly, at that point under Shelley Silver, said to the governor, without the funding, we're not going
It'll
forward
be
with the
fascinating
budget.
to see how the MTA turns out. Now, talking about the new and the old, Andrew, on Monday, a lot of folks, including eyes from Albany, not just lower New York, will have eyes on a federal courtroom in Manhattan. And that's when jury selection will begin in the trial of the former Assembly Speaker, the aforementioned Shelley Silver. Silver, as you know, faces corruption charges, accused of abusing his office and pocketing nearly $4 million. Silver, he claims the money came from legitimate legal work. Rather than relitigating all of that, we're going to have time for that, Andrew. What's the thing you're going to be most interested to watch that'll come out of this trial? Because there's so many fascinating storylines.
Well, I was reading a story today that the Silver defense team is trying to make an issue of character, and they're going to try to establish his character and use that as one of the bases for their defense. I think the other interesting angle is going to be whether Silver's defense includes a claim that this is just the way business gets done in Albany, and I didn't do anything different
All
from
the other
anybody
kids
else.
did it, yep.
Yeah, and it'll be. The other thing is, obviously, I want to see what Preet Bharara's prosecution looks like. This is really his first major spotlight test for one of these major corruption cases of a high-ranking player in Albany. So it's going to be interesting to see what kind of evidence he has, if there's anything beyond what we already know.
90% conviction rate. How long?
The
It's a matter of how much time Shelley
The
Silver's going to
last
do.
two legislative leaders who were convicted at trial by the U.S. Attorney's Office had their convictions overturned.
That was a North District.
No, it was not.
You're talking about Joe Bruno. That was not the Southern District.
That was Mel Miller in the Southern District when he was speaking. Look,
that was a long
this is
time
serious stuff, and we can guess and we can speculate.
Forever.
But in the end, this will be decided on the evidence and not by
Absolutely.
Self-hating journalists.
However, if the argument is, Richard, that Shelley Silver posits, hey, listen, this is everybody did this. My God, in many ways, that's a worse indictment on Albany than even is alleged.
He's never said that. It's not a defense. The judge won't let it.
Look.
The jury won't care. It isn't true. This is about his legal practice. And there are very few
And obviously
members,
using the position that he holds in
Well, not only
Albany,
his legal
and
practice,
obviously...
But him as an assembly speaker steering state money to
Yeah.
his cronies.
No, not to his cronies.
Yes, the doctor who was
Yes.
doing
No
research
one
got
is-
state
for
money.
what it's worth, I don't want to be in the position to defend Shelley
From
because I don't know
Shelley Silver.
what the evidence is. But the money that was sent, no one disputes, but was used for a good purpose. It was used for research into asbestos-related illness. There's never been, the U.S. Attorney doesn't challenge that.
Columbia
and
University
once-
disassociated themselves from that
Yeah,
doctor.
but once the money stopped
They got rid of
going
him.
to this center,
That's-
then the client stopped going to his firm.
If that's
I'm an
proven,
attorney.
it's
I'm
a
just saying,
crime.
prima facie case of corruption.
If that's
Prima facie.
if that's proven, that's a crime, and Shelley should be convicted and punished. But we don't know what the evidence will show yet.
But what
I agree.
here's
All we're looking for
I
is an
asked
impartial
Andrew the
jury on
question,
Monday.
and I'd like to get it from you guys. You personally, what are you going to watch the most out of this trial? I mean, you have obviously high-profile figures. I'll oversimplify. You have Preet Bharara in one corner and Shelley Silver in the other. No one's going to accuse either one of them of being slow on the uptake.
I'm going to watch
and then
the judge, because in a lot of ways, the question that this judge will face is the same question that was faced in the Miller and Bruno stuff. If proven, the conduct, even if established to have taken place, is it criminal? It's a close question. And that, I think, is why what the judge rules will be most important.
But I think at the very least, Albany's not going to look good. I mean,
No.
Albany in totality is not going to.
When did Albany ever look good?
Well, but it's not
well,
going to look any better.
and by the way, guys, 2 weeks after this trial starts, then the Skelos trial starts. How about you, finally, Dominic? What are you looking for in this case as all the dirty laundry gets aired? That's going to be most
I want to be
fascinating.
direct, but my esteemed colleague is going to criticize me. The only thing I'm looking at is how fast the speaker is going to jail. It's as simple as that. He is correct, though, because knowing Bruno well, he was convicted, everything was against him, and then the Supreme Court overturned part of, I don't know the
The
exact...
theft for services.
Yes, and so when the Supreme Court got involved, that can change things. But I believe, unfortunately for Mr. Silver, that he's going to jail and all of his dirty laundry
You better
that we've
believe-
all known is about to come out in public.
You better believe Preet looked at the decision from the Supreme
Yes,
Court, saw
before
the
he
theft
went
for
forward,
services, and
yes.
said, okay, I know which way to go.
They charged him with extortion, not theft of services.
Okay.
I know,
Well, we
because
will
they're not
go
gonna
from
go that way
Albany to D.C. next, and you can now call him Speaker Ryan. Paul Ryan taking over here for John Boehner earlier today. The question is, will Ryan have any better luck reigning in the right wing of his party? We'll talk about that after this.